Hi, and welcome to Cellular Reset. My next guest has been on Cellular Reset before. Her name's Rhonda Byrne, and if you haven't heard of the book The Secret or watched the movie, you need to do that because her practices are actually based on spiritual principles, but also quantum physics. So science has actually shown that these principles are real and that the power of the mind and the intention can actually create your own reality. And so maybe it's time for you to start looking at how you can start creating what you want in life. And the first step in that would be to watch this interview and subscribe to the station. I hope you enjoy.
The body is, pardon me, a perfectly finely tuned instrument. And it can run itself so beautifully. The problem that we have is we get in the way of that. So if the body was just left to itself, it would resolve everything. It would heal itself, it would do everything. What gets in the way is our beliefs and our opinions, our judgments, our attachments, all of the things actually that all different religions talk about, don't judge. And so they're the things that get in the way. Mm-hmm. And so when we have, and by the time we're an adult, we've accrued quite a lot of beliefs. And then as every decade passes, we just add so many more beliefs to those decades. And the way to freedom is letting go of all those beliefs so that the body is no longer hampered by what we are holding within ourselves that is not true. Everything, every conclusion that we come to, every opinion that we hold, every belief, every judgment, they're all the things that in the end we need to let go of them so that we can stop restricting our life and limiting our life according to our beliefs, because life is unlimited. It's unlimited, but when we believe things like, and I'm saying like, I need to think of some things. Okay, so here are some things. You have to work hard to have money. You've got to work really hard to have money. Like that's a belief. But if you believe that, then you are not going to get windfalls of money. If you believe that's the only way money's going to come to you, then you're never going to receive windfalls, And so when you open yourself to the possibility that money can come to you in unlimited ways, then all of a sudden you get a tax rebate check, a tax refund check. And then somebody who you forgot you lent money to said, oh, by the way, here's the money you lent to me 10 years ago. I forgot all about it. And I mean, money just starts coming in from every direction. But that one belief is so limiting. And when the universe actually is, on a physical level, unlimited in the ways it can bring money to us. And so you'll never win a lottery if you, and I know a lot of people go into lotteries, but you can never win a lottery if you have a really firm belief that the only way you can receive money is through hard work, And so, and then other beliefs that we hold that can be really detrimental to our health is things like, this runs in our family, this is hereditary. And this particular thing runs in our family. My father had it, my brother had it, and so that's a belief that absolutely cements that condition to you.
Absolutely. And so few diseases are actually genetic. I mean, they've done studies on that. And even if there is a genetic aspect to it, there's something called epigenetics. So it has to do with the lifestyle that you have, which if you're attracting the right lifestyle to get the result that you want, it all works. It's a flow.
Oh, that's great that there's research on that. Because it's so they're just a couple of demonstrations of beliefs that we can hold that limit our life, and And beliefs cross into absolutely every single area, like beliefs about a spouse, oh, he loses his temper quickly, or, just any kind of belief at all, or beliefs about yourself, I'm not very good at dancing, or, let me think, oh, I'm clumsy, or I trip a lot, or, I find it hard to express myself, or I'm shy, all things like that, or I don't feel very secure. I mean, all of those things, we are branding ourselves, because when you have a belief, you absolutely cannot experience anything outside of that belief. It's impossible. So that's why we need, and especially in the area of health, especially because if you go to, and I think all forms of medicine are incredible and have their place, but if you go to a doctor and you've got to fill in a form that says, what conditions did your mother have, did your father have, do your siblings have? Did your grandparents have? And they're wanting to put you in a box. They're wanting to look at you and say, well, you're going to be vulnerable for this and this and this. And so, but that's all coming from their belief that you were going to suffer from all of those things if you had parents or whatever that did. So it's amazing that you found that research, because it just isn't true. We all have our own unique individual journey. And another belief would be like, it's really hard for me to lose weight. That's another belief that a lot of people would have.
Yeah.
It's really hard for me to lose weight.
I diet over and over again, and I just can't lose weight. Yeah.
And they put it back on again. Why? Because they have a belief that they're overweight, and they have a belief that they can't lose weight. And so that's a really, that belief has got lots of tentacles to it. And so then attached to that belief could be things like, well, it runs in our family, our family is all overweight, or I'm just big boned, or all sorts of different things that get attached and reinforce that belief, so that you're really entrenched and locked into it. So the secret really is that you create your life through the thoughts that you think, and everything that is happening right now in our life is what we have thought before. And that can be confronting for some people, because they're like, well, I would never have wanted to create this. They look at the bad things and say, I would never have wanted to create this. Of course they wouldn't. No one would ever deliberately create something that they don't want, or something that's painful where they suffer. But we did it unconsciously. When we talk to people about negative things, when we talk about diseases and sickness, and we give all the focus of our mind on that, when we are focused on disease and sickness and we are feeling it, we are inviting it to ourselves.
So let's take the listeners through a process. So let's say that I have a desire to bring more health into my body. So how would they begin? Like, would if you were working with someone and coaching them, would you have them do a morning ritual? Like, would you walk me through, like, what would be your advice?
I would start with affirmations, because affirmations are intentions, but affirmations are really saying, this is what I want, except that you're saying, this is what I have. Because there's no time in the universe. Time is just relative. And so anything that you want, you need to say it as though you have it now. That's the thing. And so affirmations, therefore, are really, really important. I would get them to use gratitude, and that is to look at all of the things that they're grateful for in their life, all of the things that are wonderful. I wrote a book about gratitude that's got 28 days of gratitude in it, and also which covers gratitude for your health. So I would move to all of the things that the person is grateful for in their life, then to move to all of the things that they're grateful for about their body. So, because we can be so focused on one thing that's not right and ignore everything else that is right. And so to tip the balance and to be grateful for all of the things that are right.